The other important aspect that we are focusing on for our brand is using blockchain for our premium products, and which will help us grow globally and also cater to the niche market outside India, as well as of course here. We will also focus on customized handmade and fashion, and we believe in Ubuntu. We will be collaborating with Kasson by Swaminathan, Kota Doria by Jyoti Gupta, Tirumodai Silks in Tamil Nadu, and cottons with Kari RAM, which is also in Tamil Nadu. And
apologize, Madam, I'm sorry. May I invite Dr. Gloria Sarup Sanchu, Director General, National Institute for Micro, Small, Medium Enterprise, please. We would like to honor you for your presence today. Please, sir. Okay. Sir, please come on stage. Dr. Yogesh Goel. Sir, here, in the center. Yogesh, please accept a memento from us and a token of love. A big round of applause for Yogesh. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Madam Ansari, please. I apologize for interrupting you. Welcome back.
yeah, like I was saying that we are going to be collaborating with Kasson, Swaminathan, and Kota Doria, and of course, Bloom to Luxury, Banarsi, etc. We will also collaborate with rural clusters and weavers who will respond to the beauty of handcrafted products. Now, about Kasson campaign is a holistic process where people involved, like farmers, weavers, artisans, and consumers, are benefited equally. And this will ensure a sustainable livelihood, and the consumers will get safe and healthy clothing and product solutions. Through the Kasson project, we are looking for chemical-free processing and natural dyeing methods. Margari will also be on board a hybrid e-commerce startup platform called Good Lives as a good boutique portal. We want to promote the handloom legacy of India and to ensure people's support for the craft. We believe that fostering women weavers and entrepreneurs is the building block of India's future in the crafts and handloom sector. So we need all the blessings and support from Margari, and let's grow together. Thank you much for the opportunity. God bless all of us and Jai Hind. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Wonderful. Now may I invite Miss Bhavini Parikh, founder. Banco Janko, okay. The founder of Banco Janko. I'll talk to you afterwards for 2 hours and ask you why that name and how it came about. It's a lovely name. Banco Janko. From today I'm going to call my wife Banco Janko. No, I want to know.
Fashion is a state of mind, a spirit and extension of ourselves. Coco Chanel once said, fashion is not something that exists in dresses only. Fashion is in the sky and in the street and has to do with ideas, the way we live, what is happening. It can mean a lot of things to each individual. We ask people what fashion means to them, and they are fashion is a big one. Fashion is
today, the fashion world has changed, and we are constantly being bombarded with new fashion ideas every now and then. As consumers worldwide buy more clothes, the growing market for cheap items and new styles, popularly known as fast fashion, is taking a toll on the environment. The question that arises here is about the waste generated by this industry. So to know more about people's knowledge and awareness in the field, we asked them whether they knew anything about fashion waste. Imagine being unaware of the waste generated by something so valuable in our lives. But we don't blame anyone. Fashion waste is a very less known and talked about topic. Did you know fashion waste is as dangerous to the oceans as plastic waste? Hear this out. Every second that you're watching this documentary, 7.6 to 10 cubic meters of fabric is being dumped and burned, contributing to the 1.2 barn in greenhouse gas emissions the fashion industry releases each year. Shocking, isn't it? Well, do we have enough attention now? Then let us first understand what fashion waste exactly is. Second to oil, the clothing and textile industry is the largest polluter in the world. Fashion waste is of two types. One that is occurred at the time of production of the garment, while the other one that is post-production waste. Around 55% of the materials in the supply chain end up as waste, while 50% end up in landfills. Waste is at the heart of fashion. Both the physical act of discarding materials in clothes and the ethos of junking items once out of fashion.
The consumer will also consist of damaged textile. The consumer will also consist of leftover fabrics which are not used. And the next is the consumer waste. So consumer waste is the fashion goods, clothes, accessories used by people.
Yes, brand Banco Jumbo, which produces garments all made out of fabric waste.
Hello everyone. Good afternoon. Respected members and dear upcoming designers. Thanks to Yash for giving me this opportunity. So I'm Bhavini Pai, running the brand. Here everyone is asking me what is the bumper jumbo. Let me first tell you. Bumper is the art decoration creation and jumbo is from the jump. Bumper name generated from the Japanese word and jumbo from the jump. So we work towards the environmental sustainability as well as the women empowerment. We make the garment, home furnishing, accessories, everything from the unused textile. So this is very important for your main crowd, upcoming designers. So I would like to tell you that whatever the design you can do, make it in the circularity. What is the end result of the end lifestyle of the life of this product is must you should take taken care of. So textile industry is the world's second most polluting industry. Ton of the textiles goes to the landfill, and increasing amount of the waste is generated every year from the production unit and textile industry. It is estimated as possible. Upcycling is a way of processing an item to refinishing a wearable product from pre-consumer or a post-consumer textiles. I will tell you about my background. I am in the fashion industry for more than 30 years. I started my journey with the service ornamentation work for the big brands and small brands. I worked for the started with the Lila Lace. They were into the export. After that, I worked with the Super Stock, and many more. And in 2007, I started manufacturing, started by learning manufacturing for the mini brands, small as well as big. During that time, we came across a lot of the textile scraps. And you see, I can't throw it off, They are so beautiful. We are working with the handlooms and the thicker, so many fabrics, and so many fabrics. I can't go it up. We used to make the garments from there. And my daughter at that time started exporting, and we got a very good response. So we started, and my daughter, in 1990, when I started this work, surface ornamentation work, I went to some company. I would like to tell you the past story about this, why because it inspired of you. There are many possibilities in the fashion industry to not only the designing but surface ornamentations and many more. So in 2000, in 1990, I just passed from the SPC college outside. And I said, I want to do something in my life. I can't face it. Everyone was telling me, roti banana sikhate outside. I said myself, no, I want to do it. Roti banana is important, but I can do that much more than this. And then I went to some company, कि मुझे ऐसे काम दोगे क्या कैसे कि how many women you have, how many pieces you can do in a day? I said 5 days. They said no, we can't do it. I said please ask me chance दो करके. They said no, we can't. Then some guy came to me and he said आप सामने जाओ वो कंपनी की साइन आपको मिलेगा. I went to Lita. Then I told them कि means ऐसे ऊपर का हमें काम दोगे क्या? They said कि how many women you have here? तो इन्होंने हमें बताया 5-10 हाँ बोला तो यहाँ पे हमने बोला 15-20-25 से ज्यादा बोल नहीं सकते थे तो हमने बोला 15-20 जन. They said no ma'am, we need 100 pieces in a day. I said कि but we can give the chance. So they said we can give you the chance but हम 100 pieces तो minimum देंगे. एक वीक का काम दे सकते हैं, एक वीक का टाइम दे सकते हैं. And they gave me the work. So I took it to the home and my all friends were telling me कि हम लोग कुछ करेंगे. So I told them कि ऐसे काम है, please लगाना है शर्ट पे तो आप करोगे. They said no ये तो हमारे बस की बात है, हमें नहीं करना. तो मेरे वहाँ जो मेट थी उसको मैंने बोला मौसी आपके एरिया में सब लोग क्या काम करते हैं? बोला हैंड एम्ब्रॉयडरी और मतलब सब. उन्होंने बोला कि आटा बनाते, पापड़ बनाते, चपाती बनाते. ऐसे चलो हम जाते हैं आपको वहाँ पे जाके वो एक तो पूछा कि आप ऐसे काम करोगे तो उन्होंने बोला नहीं हमें तो नहीं आता. ऐसे हाउ मच आर यू अर्निंग इन अ डे? बोले 20 रुपया कमा लेते. मुझे आप 50 रुपया कमाओगे तो बोले हम करेंगे लेकिन हमें आता नहीं. तो कितना नहीं आता है तो हम सिखा देंगे. आपको सुई धागा पकड़ना आता है बाकी हमारे पे छोड़ दो. ऐसे लोग थे वहाँ पे ही मैं बैठ गई, वहाँ पे उनको सिखाया. दिस इज द स्टोरी आई एम टेलिंग यू अबाउट 1990. एंड वो एक घर में वो 4-5 मेरा लोग सब थे. तो वहाँ से मैंने जर्नी चालू किया. वहाँ पे एक वो लोग को दिया. शाम को मेरे वहाँ 10 जन आजू-बाजू के 2 घर के लोग आ गए. Within a month, I had more than 300 events. And in a, I can say in a span of 5 years, we had more than 5,000 events from all over Mumbai, Gujarat, everywhere. Valsad, Surat, from Dahisar to Kolaba, everywhere women used to come to us doing this hand and like that my journey started. So my passion is from the beginning, not just to do it. So today, their children are engineers, CA, pilots. My daughter is a pilot, so this is this way I want to do it. Now here, when my daughter done the commercial pilot, she done the academy. So she joined me, and from in 2010, we were making the garments and all that. In that time, she told me, "Mom, why you are not making the garment, or why you are not selling this or making the brand or something?" I said, I don't know how to make the brand and all those things, and it is not top of my field. But she said, no, so you can do it. So like that, D for Bhavini, J for J, and we came up with brainstorming कि हमें कुछ नाम इसके ऊपर से चाहिए. And she said कि Jumbo. I said Jumbo is good, but who is going to buy the name of the Jumbo? We want nice Jumbo. We want something. And thus, by brainstorming, we came up with the Bumbo Jumbo. The Bumbo, when we search on a Google, we come to know about Bumbo is our decoration creation and Jumbo is from the Jumbo. Thus, the brand Bumbo Jumbo came. In 2018, I applied for my startup idea, and I was selected in IIT, in some IIT college. And they asked us for the business plan. I don't know the business plan. I was doing it with service organizations and all the things for more than 25 years, but don't know anything about this whole business plan, valuation, or benefit decisions or nothing. And then after that, I was selected in the foundations. They trained us in IIT Mumbai, and after that, we wrote on very high level, and this is my journey. So here I would like to tell all the students, there is a many challenges, but do unique things. And in the upcycling, huge market. So try it out and look into it. So what the problem we are solving? The urgency to upcycle the textile waste. Textile waste is the world's second most polluting industry. 80 billion clothes are produced every year, and tons of the textiles goes to the land. Very few opportunity, empowerment, and accessibility for underprivileged young and women to be under. Consumers are not aware about negative impact of the fast fashion on environment, and availability of the affordable pico products is a big challenge. Solution, we come up with the solution that upcycling of the textile waste and its contributions to the socio-economical upliftment of the country. This is our glance of we train the women to make the products, we help them to generate the livelihood, we provide the products to them, we also give the workshop to bring up many schools, colleges, and many more. According to the market survey, this is for all young and upcoming entrepreneurs. This is a big market. Can you imagine upcycling is a big market? 1.31 million tons of the textile manufactured in 2017. 0.875 million tons of the textile being scrapped. Well, 17,500 billion rupees of textile industry in 2020. 700 billion rupees potential scrap industry. So in 2019, we have provided sustainability to more than 50 to 80 remains, and during COVID, we were also not be able to work on all the things. And just now, we are doing many areas, many restaurants, and many more. Today, we have saved 368 tons of the landfill saved. This data is still 2020. Now the data is 270 million gallon water saved, 2,970 tons of the carbon emissions saved. This is a glance of our product. So we use whatever the scraps we get it from the companies, and we make the products from there. Not only that, we use all the scraps for the home things. This is the scraps for the home furnishings and everything we have used. We have done the Kalagoda installations and many other installations we train and create the awareness in the colleges and schools. This is our fashion show. We have done fashion show from the khadi. This is here in this khadi scraps we have used. And in the end, whatever the scraps remains, we use that for our thank you card, and this is a seed paper, and we use for our story as well as a thank you card. So there are many opportunities for you can provide the services to the manufacturer, to the brand for upcycling. Thank you. If you have any questions, and I would like to say, students, if you need any help, any guidance, I'm always ready to help you out. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, and my dear students, a big round of applause to Bhavini Palji, founder, Pulko Janko. Thank you, ma'am, for your presentation. I may now invite Mr. Karthik Raichura, co-founder and CEO, websites.co.in, for his presentation. Welcome, sir. Sir, please.
Hello everyone, this is Karthik, co-founder at websites.co.in. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to speak over here. And there's some really interesting people that I've met over lunch. And, so this is my platform. Websites.com is perhaps the world's easiest website creator platform. And some sort of facts for you guys. So it's used by 1.5 billion people in 200 countries. They use it in 98 languages to create a website instantly. What that means is that anyone can create a website by going on Play Store or perhaps going on websites.co.in. It's just 2 steps. First is you register your name, your phone number, your email ID. The second is your business name, your business category, your business address. 2 steps. And the third one is you get a free website. You can use the website for 30 days of a free trial and keep on continuing to use it even after 30 days, but just that some ads will show up on your website. So we're paying customers from 700 plus countries today, and Google Play Store featured us 66 times in 39 countries as a top app in the last quarter alone. We've got about 1 million pages on the network per month. This is some social proof, right? So I think what happens is a lot of people have heard about Wix, Weebly, GoDaddy, Squarespace, and hardly any people have heard about websites.com. That's why it's important to give some interesting stats so that at least it gets some attention, right? So we are the top 10 website builders in the world. On the Play Store, you will see that there's 4.5 stars out of 5 stars. About 20,000 users on the Play Store that have given us this rating. It's supported by Facebook. At the start, we got integrated at SCDBI and our expense started by JP. We represent the state of Maharashtra as the startup at IITF, which is the Asia's largest trade fair, and at Midnight Maharashtra, which is on the vision of our honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi. We're also finalists for top, for the 10 million challenge at IIT Mumbai. And just recently, about 50,000 startups applied for the program of Government of Maharashtra and Cornell, which is called Mahasasi Accelerator. And out of those 50,000 applications, 60 were selected. We are in that 60. Also, in a couple of days back, we would have seen some full-page ads on Economic Times, Science of India, and Sunlight, where you would have seen Google promoting top 100 apps of India. We are also one of those top 100 apps for Google Apps Data. So this is the opportunity, right? 95% of the businesses in the world are micro businesses. Micro businesses means small businesses, right? People who have less than 10 employees. The person who is the business owner himself does not maybe have the bandwidth to go online or does not know how. You would have heard of things like GoDaddy. You would have heard of those CVs, WordPress, but you would not know how to do all these things himself. And that's why it's a problem for him. He knows online data, right? He knows that if I take my business online, I'll, the digital footprint will actually get your business from all over the world. Like a lot of, interesting conversations that happen on the diets, word saying that, okay, so love each other, and the emotion that is to love each other, and so many interesting things, right? But where do we get it, right? And the only place that will actually do for it is on Google. So if people are online, then they will be able to get a lot more customers. If they are not online, not a lot of business. And I do a lot of interviews and I said that if you are not online, your business does not exist. It will be as bad as that, right? So what we created, I think, is something that gets the local or micro business owners on the digital bandwagon. And there's only 2% of them that have presence. There's only 1.5 billion websites in the whole world, right? There's only 380 websites that get created every minute. I mean, that's just such a minuscule stat, right? For population of the world to start. And there's a lot of it, right? And so that's what we do, right? So these are like micro businesses like yoga classes, teachers, spa, salon, pet shop, law product, accountants. So many people in Excel, which is over here, so many people who possibly are helping a lot of small businesses, right? All of those are thanks to businesses. And this is the solution, right? So this, this is the screen of our app. You just, log into Google Play Store, Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever. This is how our app looks, and this is about me. So I started my first startup when I was 19 years old, way back in 2004, and I was managed by the top 10 portals of India, and we empowered millions of users globally. The TEDx speaker, star entrepreneur, award winner, top 15 innovative thinkers of the world, top 100 market technology innovators. I got the award by UN Association with Icon UN Next Foundation by my co-founder this year. His name is Paul Mehta. He has been a technology thought leader for the past 12 years, and he exited his last build SaaS startup and then joined the site software as the CEO. We're doing some phenomenal job with our chief mentor. Right? So our mentor is Soviet Bannister, who actually architect Reliance CEO, and is second line to Tata CEO right now. And so this is how we make money, right? We make money by the 30 days free trial. We advertise on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, all of places. People see our ad, they download our app. The 30 days trial will take, and after that, if they choose to upgrade, we make money. We also have affiliate link-based sales. So a lot of people, because they love our platform, they promote it and they earn 30% commissions for lifetime. If someone they ask, they get on the platform, they end up upgrading. We also make advertising revenue, so if people don't upgrade, then on the website there are ads. We also do enterprise sales, right? So if there is a franchise, we have like 10,000, 15,000, 50,000, 1 lakh people, who are under you, like a dealer or a distributor or a franchise. We can get them online in less than 5 minutes, and Google gets a lot of insight about your data. Your dealer distributor will thank you, right? Because they got online, and now which is the fast moving item in which location and what dealer is, sort of doing what sort of business, or how they how they want to do their business. A lot of intelligence comes through this into enterprise sales. We also give rights to the whole country. So we are in conversation with a couple of people. We get about 2,000 people creating a website on a platform every day. And this comes from 200 countries of the world, right? So if say someone in South Africa wants the regional rights, the whole of South Africa, or they want to apply for a specific city, what we do is we give out the leads to that person, and then that person can either convert them or anyways, a lot of people automatically convert. So he can assist them into conversions through through some handholding, or even if they convert automatically, all the revenue that we get from that region goes to him. He just has to pay us a fixed fee and some small royalty for that. So that's one of the other points we have. So yeah, let's get you online. So if there's a volunteer, if we have time, I could possibly show you how we can get, where we can create a website in 5 minutes for anyone of you guys. I hope everyone is able to see the screen. The network, I think, is a little bit here. It might take more than 5 minutes. Awesome. All right. So we click on we sign up. Yes, what's your name? Yeah, please send me this one. Okay. Okay, like. Please don't defer calls. don't change the password. You should got a OTP on your email. Okay, so what's the name of the business? Awesome. On chocolates, are the best. We do sell bakery, to open up love chocolates, our websites are open free. Domain that she gets in the 30 days trial period. Okay, she could try the address later on. Okay, create website. I'm not able to ask, don't disappoint me. And it says, welcome to Radhika State. Your website has been created. And my sites. Token of chocolates.websites.co.in. And doesn't take more than 5 minutes. This is a WhatsApp. If anyone wants to feature a WhatsApp, just click over here and they can send out a message. The Google Map icon is here, but contact details are here. If there's an address, that's in here. If you subscribe to the newsletter, she will be able to get in touch with you. Whenever she puts an update or a new chocolate or anything on her store, you will get an email. She can choose to inform you about it. And yeah, in this is the search bar, whatever, right? And as you can see, it's mobile responsive, so it will open on any mobile phone. YouTube, right? And it has, so this background image, all things you can change from here. Very simple thing, right? This is profile. Okay, she wants to add this description over here. And so here we have chocolates. She just goes over here, save this information, and automatically goes to the right place on the platform. So, you don't need drag and drop on this thing. Also, e-commerce is pre-built in. So, if you want to do e-commerce, you just go on the store, product or services, and you just put in uh, some sort of photos and description, and she uploads it, and she will be able to sell her chocolates globally. PayPal payment gateway comes integrated on the platform. People from all over the world will be able to pay her. She does not have to register any KYC unless the payment comes in her email ID, which is the payment and all. So as I said, we have customers in more than 200 countries, about 1.5 million users that use it. Anyone who wants to create so they might see a lot of students like want to maybe do upload their designs, upload their clothes, fashion accessories, whatever, and use this platform and create in 5 minutes. And happy to answer any questions. The rest of things, I think the website for itself, you can go and log your website.com and find a lot of information. But happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Anybody has two questions? I'll take two questions. One from the general audience, one from the students, three questions, and one from the boss. Okay. Student or general audience, please. I'll always give one question to a student and one question to a non-student. Go to the students all our lives. Anybody? Am I right? We learn from our kids also. Any student wants to address what Mr. Raithura have said, but you know everything, everything. You have a question, ma'am, please.
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah. So I have a question. How do you implement SEO or how do you get search?
Right. So I'll give you a little of my background, right? So I founded my first startup when I was 19 years old. It was in 2004. Google AdSense program got launched as a beta in 2003. So I have been seeing that whole curve of how things happen on Google search, how social media optimization, the lead that's coming in, and how SEO changed over the past 2 decades. So my past startup was also something which was particularly successful in ranking on Google. I remember the CEO of Recharge when he was just starting Recharge. He was saying, how does your startup package.com rank for the term Recharge? Because it's my company. And so there's so many things in search and optimization. Whatever I learned in those 20 years, right? All of those things have been implemented in this platform. This is a magic secret sauce that runs behind Algo. And as you saw, right, you don't need any technical knowledge, or you don't need to know what.
How do we ensure that when we look for our businesses on Google,
right,
or any other search engine?
Right, so it happens automatically. So when you go to the business profile page, it will ask you to put in your keywords, and you will put 5 keywords, main keywords that you want to rank for, and then the backend engine automatically starts tweaking the algorithms, right? One of the algorithms, so there is about 120, 180 things that Google would look at to rank your website, and we track that on a regular basis. And we ensure that a lot of things that need to go to Google the right way, our platform gives it to them. Yeah.
Thank you. So I want to ask, because you mentioned there's a nominal charge, right, after the 30-day period. What's the nominal annual
It's
charge?
actually nominal, right? It was possibly what we had to touch. I think monthly it costs about 800 rupees.
So yearly, but how much?
Yearly it costs 5,000 rupees.
So then, isn't it cheaper when you were doing a thing with GoDaddy and XYZ, as compared to yours?
So if you can create it on your own on GoDaddy, awesome. If you cannot, then you will have to hire someone, end up hiring someone. So I mean, we have a 5-year plan, right? I mean, a 5-year plan. Yeah, it's 350 rupees per month for a 5-year plan. That's pretty affordable.
Yeah, that sounds fine.
Yeah, and we give all of these things. Yeah, so if you go to the pricing page, you will see hosting is free, SSL certificate itself costs more. Optimization happens automatically. You can have an e-commerce website, unlimited, everything's unlimited, right? Unlimited pages, unlimited products, unlimited product catalog, extra text. A lot of things are made in such a way that any person, like you find your person over here who says, I was not able to create a website to your platform, and I will hosting to a 5-star dinner and learn from what is wrong with it. Because everyone here or everyone that you meet anywhere who is more than 12 years older will be able to create it in his own language. had to get just some funny answers. Do we have time?
No.
No? We take long.
Okay. So thank you very much. You have, I think, a very good question, Kanika ji. You convinced? You take in check or Google Pay?
We are also raising money.
Okay. What's this? We have, yes, we will.
Thank you, Karthik ji. We have a wonderful position. What my question to you is that since you all know that digital India, now the next mission or vision of your is that people is looking forward to digitize micro entrepreneurs compared to where the production which are being made by the artists is sort of narrow by entrepreneurs. They should get digitized and they should know how to take pictures, how to post those pictures on web. And then for the web, they should be to the end customer. So how your platform is going for that community, which is at the bottom right now. The person wants them to add this online platform for promotion, marketing, and for businesses for themselves and for their system.
Right.
How we can get them to your website?
Thank you, Yassi, for asking this very interesting question. And so as I said that what we demoed right now is the website, but we also have a mobile app on Android. And because of Geo, right? So I remember when I was young, I used to watch so much of people used to constantly stay on the mobile phone, and my mom used to tell me, "Beta, aankhein kharab ho gayi. Don't use it." With Geo app. फिर सारे भजन कीर्तन वो देख रहे थे. They were on YouTube और उनकी आंखें खराब हो गई. What I'm trying to say is that everyone, like my dad, your brother, everyone now knows how to use mobile apps. They know how to download a mobile app. They know how to share things on WhatsApp. They know how to share things on Facebook. And when we started this platform, the vision has been to be the easiest website builder of the world, and it comes from this understanding that if they are able to use Facebook and WhatsApp, they should be able to use that platform. And which is why you go on the Play Store and you will just fill in details like this, and your website gets created. And as simple as how you share a status message on Facebook, it's the same process on a mobile, right? You take a picture, you put in, so Muga silk, right? Someone put Muga silk sari and put a photo over there, publish it, and it's there on the side. It's enabled e-commerce, just a switch, right? Just tap, and he's able to accept payments. So you realize that any person in any language has been able to sell things online. You had people who have sold Muga silk saris. One of the proprietary things that, as I mentioned, and she actually asked me if you go on Google and type for Muga silk, and the client site shows up on Google, right? So he's getting a lot of traffic from people because they are searching for Muga silk saris. Now this would not happen because first you don't know where to buy a domain name from. Do we go to GoDaddy, which hosting to choose, whether I need a SSL certificate or not. How do I upload my products online, which payment gateway to choose, right? How do I rank my website on Google search? All of these questions are real questions, right? Every business owner had those questions, and we solved it with a very simple platform. You don't need to think about all of those questions at all, right? No questions like these will come to your mind because everything is already there on the platform. I think that is perhaps why we were one of those few startups that were present at Pragati Maidan at IIT, right? There was pavilion of just about every state of India, and someone was selling saris, someone was selling some food items, and we made sure that in our early days we met every person who was there in the pavilion, and we sort of asked them to try out our app, and then we thought, okay, he's not able to understand this word needs to change. This graphic needs to change, this image needs to change. We should be able to understand I think we did a lot of those sort of things, and because of that, it's so easy for just about every person in the micro entrepreneur also to use our platform and go online. Yes, we does that answer your question.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you very, very much, ladies and gentlemen. A big round of applause to Mr. Raikura and websites.co.in. Okay, great. Yes, please.
To use our MCs, he is known for the group and he share a very good knowledge. Past 2.5 years online on 10 kilometers of Google. 2019, we did for the first time in the history of World Trade Center Mumbai, a fashion show in the World Trade Center Mumbai at the same premises, but the stage was that side. And we had several countries participating, and we had brought the designers and we did that manifestation of their designs from our fabrics, and it was a wonderful show. That was hosted by Uniji in 2019, and since then we are good friends, my brother, and then we got to know that we are organizing this event at World Trade Center Mumbai as our co-organizer. So he has come forward and said that yes, I would like to help you. And although I requested him for the same, the director and the chairman to help me find out a good MC for this event. And then we had very less time, and he has come forward to support this event. And I'm really grateful on behalf of the organizers and co-organizers that you have come forward and you have supported us. You have after every 5 to 10 minutes, and we good. I'm really grateful and I'm honored. I would also like to also just tell people about your name, and so that we get to know about him, because he has anchored with as a top Hollywood actors, Hollywood actors. He's a brand by making himself. So please don't know about yourself, because I will not be knowing that much about you.
Thank you, Yashi. Ladies and gentlemen, my dear students, I think, to get this together, not only this, even the last one, October 10th and 11th, to see us, Arya from I Am Khadi, the founder and the CEO, did an excellent job. I think he deserves a bigger round of applause first. Okay, so know about me. I won't waste your time. Go to Google, to the browser, and type ROMI, that's my first name, and FURTADO, Furtado, Romy Furtado. You'll get 2 pages of me. Okay, but otherwise, I'm an event manager and a wedding planner, conference manager for the last 50 years. I was born on the 15th of November 1952. I am 70 now, and I never dyed my hair. Okay, so that is me. All right. For the grace of God, I can walk, my knees don't hurt, and I can see, and I can talk well. So great. So we move on. Thank you, Yashi. You've been very kind. I look like not more than 40, and my wife doesn't like it because all her girlfriends are in love with me. And I'm serious. Well, moving on. Panel discussion: customer-oriented designs and product development. We have a very interesting panel, and it gives me great pleasure to welcome Dr. Messina, Professor, University of Zimbabwe Textile Department, to be one of our moderators. Ladies and gentlemen, my dear students, a big round of applause to Dr. Messina. Come on. Thank you. Welcome. Thank you, Dr. Messina. To join Dr. Messina, I would like to invite Dr. Ajit Kumar Nigam, CEO, NIFT Foundation and Design and Innovation, to join. Welcome, sir. How many times are you going to come on this stage? Great, but we like you. I would also like to invite Ms. Kanika Bawa, Director, Design and CEO, Interior Design, to be part of this esteemed panel. Kanika ji, a warm welcome to you. Yeah, you can. Yeah, Her Excellency has sat down there, you can sit on the other side, thank you. I would like to invite Ms. Savita Suri, State President, Maharashtra Handloom Council, Wiki, to kindly come on the stage and join this August panel to share her views. A warm welcome to you, ma'am. Students, at least you all clap. Thank you. And finally, to join this August gathering, welcome, ma'am. Kindly take your seat. I would like to invite Ms. Jyoti Gupta, President, Maharashtra Chapter of Wiki, please. Yeah, thank you. Very interesting panel, and I'm sure we are going to enjoy it. We'll wait for Ms. Jyoti Gupta. I visited your stall in the morning, very beautiful, just like your sari. Thank you. Okay, moderator, take it away. Both of you are moderators. Thank you.
Good lunch. And set is useful.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. 1, test, 2, hello. Volume, okay, yeah, you're good.
All right, so mic is back. And what we're going to look at today is create a product. It has to go on the market. Somebody has to open his or her wallet to buy it. Without that, business is not. We may have great products, but unless until there's market acceptability, only then things move. Keeping that as a base, and how do you create a product which the market really demands? So these are the questions I'll be asking members, right? To understand from their experience what they have done, and I'm also going to request Dr. from Zimbabwe. She's a professor and understands textiles very well. So I'm also going to her to ask questions to the team. Would you like to say something?
Thank you very much. I'm Dr. Masina from the University of Zimbabwe. I'm in the Textile Technology Department, and I'm very happy to be part of this event. And as we are talking about SMEs, we are talking about customers, we are talking about job creators. We are going to learn more about how we are going to take our products to the customers who are the consumers of the products that we are going to produce. So we are going to hear a lot from the panelists side, how we are going to interact as designers, what role upcoming designers who are our students going to take in as far as marketing is concerned, in as far as customer-oriented design can be promoted. So over to you.
All right, so let's divide this discussion into two parts. One is the customer-oriented design, and after that, let's talk about our product development towards that design. Now, so Ben, I would like to start from you. You've been in the business for some time, and you've also seen multiple business both nationally and internationally. And therefore, I would like to understand from you, what do you really mean by customer-oriented design?
I will be saying that I have obviously fingers. And we know how hard it is. Beauty textiles it is helpful. The point is, are we really concentrating on buyer? Very well. So, I mean, it comes from my experiences where I've been able to sell, right? Brand and sell those your products. In India, we have so many products. We have such beautiful techniques and that can be slide of the fabric that and your customers well. I mean, in my experience, I've been to textiles for the last 1.5 years. presentation of ornaments, so lushness, so really, fabric, the whole cost. So I think what I have done so far is basically to provide that to the study and bringing more variations to the same fabric. And very believe that the product is very delicate and clear, is now behind after all these that's all has been my experience that we did at first we are in France, festival. First time India actually presented itself, and it is very proud. And I think what I've done, I basically researched a lot more to understand the marketplace. And that's how I found that you decide to create something new, variety, personality in the fabric. How do you actually attract consumers?
So let's talk about your French experience. And when you went there and fine, you wanted to talk about your product line and you start interacting with people there must be some change in thought, some change in orientation. So tell us about this. There are a lot of young people who would be doing this in future. So your experience will help them orient towards the market, and which eventually leads to sales.
Actually, I could confidently go to France because I traveled across a lot. Mainly because I was from the French company, and then moving to CRS, again, an Irish company. So I've gone to European countries in Australia, and people are very different. Europeans are typically like a lot of blue colors, blues, and browns, and blacks. So when I see, I've been a big time buying stuff from Marks and Spencer, get to know what kind of color people usually prefer and would like to buy. However, Switzerland is a very different market, but it's a wide range of different black and browns for people who like colors. So you need to understand what kind of colors got, seasons, what is going to be the color for next year. You have Pantone where you have to check out what is the color for next year. Start designing your own outfits, and see what colors. So you have to first search the system and kind of thing to find happy going to be sold. Not to excellent, maybe sensor. Examples where you can see what kind of color every season, and then identity for profile last and colors. However, in terms of the see that's our connection.
Very interesting. So I'm going to come later to you and ask you about how artificial intelligence systems can replace this generation of customer demand. But that's something for the later. And ma'am, wanted to also ask you that how do you look at customer demand in your country and in Africa? Before I go to those two beautiful ladies.
Thank you very much. Looking at customer demands, yes, in Africa, people have now come to realize the importance of fashion, they appreciate fashion, and they are now after fashion brands. And now it is now upon the designers to come up with the brands that are appreciated by various customers. So it's now up to the designers again to bridge the gap that's between the customer and the designers. So what it means is that we are not going to have a customer at one end and the designer remains at the other end. but this should engage, there should be an interaction so that the designer has to understand the demands of the customer so that they design according to the customer's needs. Like what I've just been saying, that they need to understand different aspects around the design, the colors that the designers would want, the events that they would want to use the designs for. So there is really need for this research that has been mentioned. There is really need to come closer to the customer and get to know and produce data-driven designs. So we would not want a situation that we are known of getting imports, only relying on imports, getting clothes from other countries. But we have designers in our countries, we have designers in Zimbabwe, but they need to step up their efforts so that they design their projects, they design their clothes that are customer oriented. So as long as the designer understands what the customer needs, then it is demand driven, and the designer will actually be able to realize a lot of profits. The designer will be able to survive and compete in an environment, even locally and abroad, especially when we are looking at Africa, we can have designers that can also compete abroad.
Thank you. I like the term which you use, data-driven design. And so my question to you is related to data-driven design. How do we use this data which is coming up for understanding the demand?
Yeah, I think actually you're not asking the right question you're asking I think somebody else will be more equipped. But let me give a take on this. Post-pandemic, the whole home, let me talk about basically home textiles, because I think you will have a whole lot of section of people and designers talking of apparel, but not too much is spoken about the home textiles and home fashion. So if you think, if you really go to see post-pandemic, the whole landscape of the home fashion has changed. It's transformed. I would like to really say that, personally, I would like to use a term which is the consumer is now looking for a home detox movement, which is, it's just my personal coinage, but you see today, after the pandemic, we're still living in it, but the consumer really knows his mind. In the last 2 years, they have done so much of research, and truly today it's customer-centric. As designers and retailers or people, exporters, we need to understand the customer, and so hence the emphasis on customer-centric, client-centric. You see today, you have living examples. You see fashion, a lot of fashion designers are all entering into the home fashion, home textile segment. Why? Why? Because there is big opportunity here, right? This is created from whom? Who has created this opportunity? The customer who's sitting at home. So, to answer, I'm going to answer your question in a different way, because I'm not really like a computer or an internet maverick like gentleman there, but I'll try to do justice to your question. So all these things, the whole landscape has changed, and you see designers like Sabyasachi, you see designers like Ritu Kumar from fashion, from apparel, they're all coming into home fashion. Imagine, look at the change in the last 2 years. You see every fashion designer wanting to get into the home section, right? Why? Because again, the customer, the client is driving this, right? And there this whole segment has so much to, there's a lacuna yet. Not much has been done in this segment. You know, a lot can be, you know, achieved in terms of what the customer wants in home fashions. The other thing is, every, you know, every retailer or wholesaler or a designer knows the process. What is the process? Process is to design for the customer, right? To design, create, and waste. Now, waste is again a huge opportunity, which today the customer can understand, right? That is sustainability. So these are again, you know, pivotal areas, and these are touch points for the customers, which designers and retailers and exporters must understand. Today, customer is truly the king. In the last 2 years of the pandemic, he studied each and every website. He has, you know, served so many places, right? So he definitely is in sync with trends. You know, whether it's biomimicry, whether it's, you know, ecological homes, ecological home fashions which are made from banana fibers, hemp, and things like that. So again, it's like he wants many more options. He doesn't want to be stuck with a few. Customer is the king truly. Even if you see, like, the ecological way is the way in the future, and that is the way to be. So we really need to understand, and our product design has to be in that direction, the way forward.
So very interesting. So when we use the word customer-oriented design, and this question is to you, the lady in the yellow, how do you really aggregate this demand? Because for any business, how there has to be a reasonable demand before he starts production. Those how do you aggregate that?
I take this from the angle of the landscape I work in, and considering that the number of students are here, and I hope some of them become very big names that we can track in the coming years. There's certain basics that I need to before I come to how the data can be there. You know, there has to be an awareness created, there has to be an appeal, and there has to be accessibility in order to get commercial viability. So I call this the AAA. Now, this will be resting on a foundation of authenticity, credibility, and sustainable value chain principles. Yeah. You know, at the end of the day, each one of us here is a storyteller. Sometimes we are telling our story. When it comes to textiles, we are telling the story of not just ourselves, but we're also conveying stories of perhaps centuries old. We have stories of our weavers, of our craftspersons, of our surface embellishment craftsmen. We have 100 stories we tell on textiles. To that, a designer adds their own layering or their own interpretation of that. The challenge is, how well can I tell my story to make it viable? For which I need to understand the segment I'm selling my product to. A lot has been said about making it for the customer. Now, there is a quote that says, if you're looking for a book and you don't find it, you have to write it for yourself. This is the same. You know, there are two kinds of customers. One who's looking for a necessity. Now, I could go out into the market and look for a handloom towel. It's a very simple thing, but it does require a lot of design as well. It's not sapita designing that you do. Towels can look very, very interesting, even when they are just ordinary hand-woven cotton towels. There's a lot of technical finesse that goes into making a good towel. I could make a towel which is an answer, which comes as a solution to a customer's problem. Otherwise, I create the problem and give the customer the solution. Yeah, I make it aspirational.
Very interesting. You create a problem and you.
Of course, I create the problem because then I can highlight the problem, then I create the solution, so they come to me for the solution. That's a win-win situation for a designer, right? I don't need a Sabyasachi lehenga, but now he made it. It's a problem for me. And because it's a problem for me, I have to buy it from Sabyasachi, right? And then he goes and diversifies into home fashion, like she says. And it's such a huge, huge segment, you know, handlooms, especially handlooms, and I'm coming from that perspective, does not have to be about the
colors we make it. It could be paneling on the walls for interiors. It could be so many things. I know that in the Northeast, women in which they store their palm and betel nut. They weave these bags on the backstrap looms, beautifully embellished bags. So much can be done with handlooms that I think will not do enough justice. Like I said, once you have a product, all of what I'm saying requires you to have your ear on the ground. How do you get data? Where does this data come from? You know, data sounds like such a big IT word. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. Data is what we do sitting on the bench in the park, eavesdropping on what the other people are talking about. Data is what I collected when I was a backbencher in the morning session and I was listening to what the students were talking while the panel discussions were happening here. That's data too, right? What do I do with this data is what matters. You can collect data any way you want, but the best, most reliable way for you to do is to keep your ear on the ground, to have real-time conversations with real people. You know, we're so focused on technology and IT, we're having conversations in the virtual space, which are heavily moderated, modified conversations. Real-time conversations with real people, with your ear to the ground at all times. And much as I think I should not be saying this, there's more to be learned outside the four walls of the classroom. So if offline classes are there and you are traveling to classrooms, do try and meet people outside, try and do site visits, try and talk to craftsmen, try and talk to people who are working in various capacities in that landscape and gather these stories, because at some point our life is all about joining these dots. Have you played joining the dots as kids? That's what life is really about. At this stage, we're just putting the numbers together. We're just looking at it and saying, okay, 1 ke baad 2, 2 ke baad 3. Then you start, the picture starts emerging once you start joining the dots. So I think you're at the stage, and so am I, where we're just counting the dots that we have to join. So this is really data collection. That is how you will read the customer. And that is also the way you will ensure your own commercial viability and sustainability. You know, you will be sustainable only if you understand what's going on in the customer's mind. And the customer can think both ways. So you will have to be 2 steps ahead of the customer at all times, 2 to 5 steps ahead. So it's really about that. So don't get bogged down by big buzzwords like data and sustainable fibers. It's all there. We know all of these things. You ask your grandmother about sustainability, she will do a brilliant 3-hour lecture on sustainability. What Banco Janko is doing is sustainability. When we use a cotton shirt, that becomes a pocha eventually, that is one form of sustainability. Kaka quilts, sustainability. When my sari, I get bored of it, I get a dress stitched out of it, sustainability. So we've known these for the longest time in India, recycling, upcycling, sustainability. These are words of the century. Yeah, buzzwords that we're using, big data analytics, data gathering, data-driven products. All of this has already been there. You just need to look back and see how your childhood was, have conversations with the elders in the family, and start connecting it to what you're hearing today. And I think you've got it all sorted out. I think you'll have great careers ahead if you're able to do this.
Fantastic. As it exists today, and the world has to learn a lot from this. So keeping that in mind, how do you think, Fatima, how do we take this idea of sustainability as it exists and link it with the way the world is? And I'm asking you specifically this, because you come from a space where it's commodity and the differentiation is not there. And keeping that in the background, how do you take this idea of sustainability as it exists, which I'm talking about, to the world?
Now, in fact, I think
And yeah, of course.
I'll just share with basically what we've been doing. So in terms of we've been making stuff for the home and home interiors from a lot of waste. So we had from a couple of projects we had leather waste. So we utilized that for leather, like leather paneling to the walls. We made a lot of cushion covers from leather waste. We made floor coverings from leather waste. Then yet for another company, they have, you see a lot of denim, surplus waste left after they, do the cutting, pattern drafting. There's a lot of stuff left. So one of the companies came to us and we made chairs from denim waste. We also made these denim art panels with a lot of this zipper embellishments. And that turned out to be quite a transformatory wall surface. So that was again very interesting. So we've used a lot of leather, we've used denim. We also a small initiative that we're doing, a CSR initiative with another company, where we're using the petri waste. Now petri is so expensive, and I was like surprised to, I couldn't fathom the pricing of a petri, crafts object, whatever, a sari or a panel for that matter. So there was so much of petri waste. We again did a lot of transformations, again all for a hotel. So we used it in the wall coverings, we used it for the bed backs. We also used a little bit as mural. We created mural panels of the petri. So I think it's for us to really reinvent. Like even Bhavani ji mentioned in one of her slides, she was showing lakade ka carving. All that carving waste, she created something really wow. I mean, it was unique. So I think all of us, like ma'am also said, like our grandparents, grandmothers have been, excellent. What do you say? How do you say that? Messengers of sustainability, because from in times immemorial we have used a sari into a dupatta into a curtain and things like that. So I think also if you go back to one of my recent world records which I created with Smriti ji at Pragati Madan, that was the world's largest ecological cushion in the world, which is 25 feet by 25 feet. And it has all the waste yarn as the filler, and it has stories of Indian embroideries and Indian textiles on one side. So it's called, it's there in the Limca and Guinness Book of World Records. And this was my third record. Before that, I've got the record for the largest art Kolhapuri chappals, which was inaugurated by PM at the Make in India show in 2016. So the point is, you don't have to be I feel textiles is an amalgamation of interiors, architecture, fashion, textiles. There shouldn't be a dividing line, it's all overlapping. So it really encompasses the sensitivity and sensibility of all these fields. And finally, it's upon us to realize this and to transform. And what better use and make use of waste. And again, the pandemic has taught us everything. Sab log ghar pe baithe baithe we were doing so much. No, just like that Asian Paints that ad says, "Har ghar kuch kehta hai." Same way, when you do some kind of sustainability at your level, it again reflects about your principles, and it goes to reinforce so much more, and make the world a better place to be in. By utilizing the waste. Yeah.
And, I just wanted to add this thing when we talk of sustainability and a whole lot of, like I said, the storytellers. What I'd like each one of you to do, I mean, maybe on your way back home, is to just jot down 3 things. What's your favorite memory of food? What's your favorite food memory? Not what's your favorite food memory. What's your favorite story of your grandmother or your mother? And third, what's your favorite place? Which is the place that your heart feels most comfortable at? Look for answers here and you'll find that sustainability is not a standalone value or principle. It's part of the cultural ecosystem that we live in. So when you go out on field visits and you're looking, say, at a weaving cluster, yes, you are going to learn the work, the web, the design, the history of the textile and all of that. But what you will also look at is how do the weavers live? Who are the people who are helping the weaver? Who are the work pointers? What is his wife doing? What are his kids doing? How does the village come together to build this ecosystem? Because the deeper you go into this, you realize that it's a very complex, interconnected ecosystem. So when you design a product, it needs to appeal to the cultural ecosystem your customer comes from. More often than not. So when a product fails, it usually fails because you're not able to create impact and connect with the customer. So part of your data, part of your research has to include how does my product fit into the customer's cultural ecosystem, and how long lasting is it going to be? Is it going to be part of the cultural fact the customer is going through, or is it going to be part of the indigenous native cultural ecosystem the customer belongs to? So I think this plays a huge role in product design, product development, and product marketing as well.
So we're talking about value proposition for a particular segment, and unless something that value proposition is not connected to the segment, actually it's just going to move forward. Who wants to share something?
Sustainability. Class where every child should be taught sustainability from the very beginning. I think once that starts leading
How do you look at sustainability from your country's perspective and larger Africa?
Thank you very much. I'm looking at sustainability in terms of restyling. Say the garments that is being used by the mother, the mother no longer needs it, that can be restyled into another garment that can be used by a child. So we call that restyling, or we can take a garment, say it's like in our country we use shirt blouses, stretch skates. So on a stretch skate, say there's a tail feature that I really need to add to that skate that I used to wear. I can add, for example, a pocket to that. So that's restyling, and that garment is now sustainable. I can continue to use it. Say I no longer wanted the garment anymore, but because I've added another style feature, that's restyling, and that garment becomes sustainable. We can also talk of renovations, whereby the garments, maybe the seams are worn out, the pocket is worn out, the collar is worn out. We can assess the extent of the damage on the garment, and if it is necessary, then we can redo the process that has been damaged, and then that garment can be worn again. We can continue to wear that garment. So in that manner, it becomes sustainable. So over and above making the existing garments continue to be used, we can look at these garments that we can check again and then destroy and come up with new garments, new products altogether. I mean, we can redo them and then rework them into new products. We can come up with a variety of products, and our country is known of very good products that can be sold, which are made from these garments that have been used and that have been remade into other products like the garments, the placements, the gloves. So we can make all those from through recycling the product, and that way the products, we can now talk of sustainability. And in design, in product design, we need to understand the customer before the product is made, during the use of the product, and even after the use of the product. So before the product, we are saying, like we have been saying here already, that we need to know what the customer wants, right? There we are. Now the customer has the product. How are they using the product? How are they taking care of the product? That's part of sustainability, right? So after, how are they going to dispose of that garment? So this process is very important. And we are looking into this, and in Africa, in Zimbabwe, we are also valuing sustainability of textile products. And we are not just throwing the clothes, the used clothes in the landfills, but we are making very good use of those clothes in coming up with new products through renovations, through restyling, through recycling, and coming up with new products. And I want to believe that this is also happening in other countries like India.
Thank you. From sustainability, let's go back. It's slightly tangential. So I want to come back to the customer-oriented design. And I really wanted to understand, ma'am, is this, that we have our products, we make beautiful crafts, and finally these crafts have to find a buyer. And the likings of a buyer willing to open his or hers to purchase could be different. We as a nation are great with our products, we do a lot of good work, but unless until we are able to relate to the market in the real sense, not maybe a few exhibitions and things like that, and to take to a $1 trillion economy, we need to do much more. What should we do as a nation? Look at understanding the demand from markets where they would give value to us, and value not in terms in financial terms. That's an important area. So what's your take on this? How we as a nation should go forward looking at that aspect?
I take this in two parts. One comes from my experience at Lyon last year in November. The Silk in Lyon is the world's largest trade and networking fair for silks, and it's held every year in November in the city of Lyon in France. And for the first time, India had a 4-member delegation. Jyoti Gupta Kotadoria was part of that, as was I. I had curated a traveling museum of Indian silks. India is the only producer of all the varieties of silk in the world. We have 5. And we took about 250 samples of products using silk, right from embroidery threads, knitting yarn, crochet yarn, to shawls, to saris, to whatever. And we did curated walks for all the visitors, in the sense that all the visitors who came to Silk in Lyon got a guided walk through a selection of our textiles. Yeah, so every time it would be, say, 10 products that we're putting out there, and we talk about it. And the product combination was like, saris with surface embellishments, woven textures, and a whole lot. You had ajrak, you had bandhani, you had hand embroidery, you had so many things going on. What I personally found very interesting, and this is something that I firmly believe in, is coming back to what I said earlier, we are storytellers. We have some amazing, incredible stories that India has to offer. I think every one of us has a million stories within us. It's about how well we tell those stories. Because I found people paying 15 euros every day to come back to listen to the next set of 10 stories that India was willing to share. They would come back with book and pen and say, can you repeat what you told us about Ajra? Can you show us again how bandhani is made? Can you show us how to drape the sari? Can you show us how to wrap a 2.5 meter dupatta as a sarong? There are stories of craftsmen, there are stories of every textile motif has a story. Somewhere I feel, while looking at the price tag alone, both as designer, entrepreneur, and customer, we miss out on the million stories that the fabric is telling us. So for me, it's very important that when we go out into the market, especially the international market, what sells for India is the stories our textiles narrate. No other country has the diversity or depth of stories that our textiles offer. No other country, and I'm saying this with a lot of conviction and pride because I stood there with so many, maybe hundreds of international participants there, and no one told the stories the way India was. We were the only pavilion that stayed 2.5 hours after closing time because we had so many people visiting. And also, again, it's a matter of pride. The Indian delegation got a standing ovation by the French government for its contribution to Silk and Beyond. This came entirely because our textiles told the stories. A, we need to be very, very good storytellers. And two, we need to value our products better. The one thing that I repeatedly told to me was that how are you pricing your products so low? Why are your products so cheap? Because just to give an example, there was an airy silk throw that we had that was priced at 3,000 rupees. And this came straight to us from the weaver. Yeah, it came from the producer location. And they were shocked because they said, we're willing to pay 40,000 for this. How are you selling it for 3? And I wanted to tell them, in India, I would be standing here listening to the other customer bargain and say, but why is this so expensive? Itna kyun hai? That tera na mera, 2,500. We undervalue our products. And the question is very embarrassing because they ask, how do you expect us to value your products if you do not value it yourself? And we do not value it because we do not, I think, somewhere have enough conviction and belief in our products. We are selling the story of the poor weaver so much, we forgot that he has a right to be proud of his skills and craft. We boasting of a 5,000-year-old heritage, but सच में रियलिटी में आ जाओ तो 5,000 साल पुराना वो टकली अगर मिलता है तो हम 150 रुपए भी नहीं देंगे उसे. बोलने के लिए अच्छा लगता है ये सब. What is the reality? Are we valuing our set of skills and craftsmen enough? There is room for everyone under the sun. So there is a room for 100 rupee towel. There is a room for a 10 lakh rupee Sabyasachi or a 1 crore Sabyasachi as well. The point is, how well are we valuing what we make? Is it because we do not understand or believe in it ourselves? Don't we believe our stories enough? I think these are the two things. One, be a very, very good storyteller. That will happen only if you have understood right from the grassroots. If your ear goes to the ground, you've heard the stories, there is authenticity and honesty in your work, you will be a good storyteller because you don't have to spin lies. So सच है वो आ ही जाता है जुबान और बहुत अच्छे तरीके से आ जाएगा. Your story will be told by the product you produce. So you don't have to worry as long as you're authentic. Repeated authenticity will give you credibility. With credibility comes commercial viability. Commercial viability, commercial profitability will come because you know that this product is worth this much. And don't back off. When you discount your product, when you put down the value, take a 25% discount may base it. It's a sign of desperation. 50% clearance sale, flat 50% off on all my products. Huge. So people will wait for that 50% sale you're offering and buy, then they won't buy the rest of the year. That's not a sustainable business practice either. Which is why in the beginning I said authenticity, credibility, and sustainable value chain principles are what is going to put India on the road to that $1 trillion economy. These, especially for the landscape you all are working in, going to work in, I think this is incredibly important that we value the stories, we value the product in monetary terms in as accurate and as beneficial a manner, because you are going to earn, you are going to feed a value chain as well. They need to grow along with you, only then will you grow better. So I think these two things, if you ask me.
Mesmerized hearing you.
Yes.
Fantastic.
I'm audible, right? Yeah, so I'd like to add to this. There are few things like internationally, when you go, you always feel that the value is greater in all things handmade. So when I was in Florida and Miami for almost a month for some of my shows, I realized that people went ballistic. You know, anything which was a little bit of handmade also in my stuff, they would love it. So firstly, that is one important vital point. I mean, they are ready to pay much more for anything handmade because it's very exquisite. And also they understand the kind of toil the person has to go through to really create that piece of art or, you know, the home accessory. Second thing I would say is application. The greater, you know, demand is always going to be for application. Only, you know, using that craft for a curtain and a cushion or a table mat or a runner, you have to look beyond that. You have to give it a new language. The same craft which was 50-year-old, you need to give it a new speech. The voice has to be different.
So correct us, we talk about a different orientation and take that forward.
Yes, that.
Thank you so much for this. And I would like to open questions.
Unfortunately, we don't have too much time for questions. Rupani, namaskar, warm welcome to you. Rupani, namaskar, I said warm welcome to you. We have the executive director of the World Trade Center here. Let's give a big round of applause. So whatever is happening today is because of a blessing and a support. Thank you, Rupani. Thank you very much. Okay, so what Yashni is saying, nothing today would have happened and tomorrow without you. Okay, now I have only time for only one question, a good question and a quick answer.
Okay.
One question. Okay, Dr. Reddy.
Yeah, my question to Savita ma'am, it was very interesting. Actually, I was really sleeping, but the words, the way you were talking, actually, I have got realized that it is true. You are very clear, like Sprite. Right. My question is very straight. How do you value the product? Is it through its intrinsic value, or is it the amount of hand made the product, as Madam Kalika was also talking about that? And how do you value? Is it the material, the efforts, the skill which has gone into it? So because you were talking about 20% flat, 25% discount and all these things. Unfortunately, that is what is happening. You're true, absolutely true. But which is not the case in the other parts of the world. So as a part of expo training, so when we talk about value, how it has to be according to you?
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
So when it comes to valuing the product, I would say this is the commercial value. I'll make a distinction on the fact that this is the commercial value. We are talking not of the intrinsic value of the product, which in that case we would not be able to put a price. We can't put a price to a painting or to an exquisite. Jyoti, can you just show that sound, the part? You know, Jyoti will show the sari, and I want someone to guess how much the sari could be. No, not 10. You're not allowed to answer. I want someone to tell me how much the sari would approximately be. Give or take 5,000 rupees.
Give or take, what did you say?
Give or take 5,000.
Okay.
Any guesses? How much? 30,000, she said. She's the closest. It's 40. It's 40. This is Indonesian batik done on quota, hand woven quota.
That's an auction. That's an auction.
Yeah. Someone said lakh, I will sell it for a lakh to you. And profit I will take. So that's the thing, you know, value of the product, the intrinsic value is something that you as a prospective buyer will look into it. Someone will say this does not look more than 6,000 bucks. Someone say 1 lakh because it looks as exquisite. But the real value which will come is when she tells the story of this. This is Indonesian batik done by a master batik craftsman on hand woven. So we add up what are fair wages. So I go the other way around. If I have a kurta at Fab India that is normally priced at 2,000 rupees, yeah, and they're having a clearance sale, which I'm sure all of you know about, 50% off, so that kurta is going to come to me for 1,000 rupees. As a customer, if I am truly conscious, I'm going to do back working. वो 1,000 रुपए जो डिस्काउंट मिल रहा है वो किसके जेब से जा रहा है? किसके जेब से जा रहा है? Is Fab India bearing the cost? Fab India मतलब कोई भी ब्रांड ले लो आप, Shopper Stop, West Side जो भी है. Is it coming from their profit? No. Fab India or anyone is saying, no, we take 1,000 rupees cut on our profit, but we will give it for less. Are they saying that? No. So there's a value chain there behind that is paying the price. There is a value chain behind that's paying the price. So back work, if we're working on, say, even 40% profit, do your rough back of the envelope calculations and look at what the weaver is left with. Does that look fair? If you were the weaver, does that look fair? I think that gives you the answer. That gives you the answer. You know, in Europe, in Lyon, we went to the Weaver Service Center and they weave this thing called Genoa velvet. It sells at a whopping 23,000. That's the base price. They will not give you discount. 1,000 euro kam karo, 50 kam karo. Nahi hota. 23,000 to 40,000 euros per meter is what you pay because they value the pair of hands that's working on it. So it's up to us as a community to keep creating awareness about why handmade products are priced the way they are, and it is fair to ask for that price. Because just like how you and I have dreams and want to go further, the handmade craftsmen working in our villages, working in our tier 2 cities also have dreams. Unless they grow, we cannot grow. Handlooms is the second largest employer in the country. So the best way to keep that employment generation going, the best way to cut migration to urban areas, the best way to cut losses of heritage and skills is to pay them more than fair wages. Not pay them 20 rupees a meter for weaving 1 meter of fabric for us. No, I think it's worth much more than that. So there is an intrinsic value, there is a commercial value which will be based on whatever the minimum wage talks about, and reasonable profit margins.
May I invite
We pay for the Patan Patola, don't we? Patan Patola starts at 2.5 lakhs. It takes 3 years waiting period. So why not? Why not?
Thank you, Secretary. Yeah. Okay. You want to ask a question? Okay. You want to say something, ma'am? Take the mic. Take the mic.
Is here. Little sir will resonate with this, the Leela craft, where we go, the Ramesh Pardesi. Does he say anything like that?
Yes, he doesn't. I have visited him, yeah, he does
I
not.
want to share like only the price of the sari because we have a, he also runs a similar kind of a story when the next students go over there. He is very passionate about this craft. So I'm just sharing that.
Thank you.
The
Thank you.
Taliban will not sell a cotton pattern for less than 50,000 rupees. So
One final question. The young lady there. Thank you.
Yeah, so question is that we have designed sensitized towards these topics. So we get to learn about them on a daily basis, read about them. So coming from a customer point of view, like if I go into my family, if I'm in a customer service a lot of time, even if I tell them
are more interested in the trend, right? So this is just a question, like all of you on it. If we take the handloom or the handicraft sector and we create a line merging them with the current trend, right? Because everyone is focused on the silhouettes that are trending right now. So if we can create a line just to create an awareness, get things going, so that they get a user experience of fabric or the handicraft. So what do you think that would go like? Can I take them?
Selling the story of handlooms is like reciting a poem. If you're going to recite a poem to someone who hasn't learned alphabets, you're in the wrong place. You need to talk alphabets to a person who's learning alphabets. You need to recite poems to a person who's far more literate. See, we're all on the same journey. It depends, we're all at different points on that path. So if you're looking at a customer and you're giving a very elaborate handloom story to a person who's looking at a handloom for the first time, you have not understood the customer properly. You've not done your market research properly. So what product would you introduce to a customer like that? Maybe a towel, maybe a napkin, maybe a red roll basket, maybe a recycled plant holder. Simple products, very, very simple products that are not expensive to make, because the myth is handlooms is very expensive. They're done. They're boring. They're difficult to maintain. You see the huge burden handlooms have to carry, other than the fact 5,000 of years of history, जबरदस्ती हम लोग ठोक रहे हैं उससे, वो अलग. उसके बाद ये सब भी है. So what do you sell to a customer? And that is going to be 99% of the people in the country. That is going to be 99% of the people in the country. I doubt any man here is wearing handloom. I'm not very sure. Man, I said man very quickly because I know the ladies, more or less I can find some handlooms. The men is much more difficult. But
Savitaji, handloom.
Handloom. Yeah, that's better wear. No, I mean I'm happy, so it should be wearing. But yeah, that's how rare it's going to be. So you need to create products that have a very base level appeal and are highly utilitarian by nature. Something they're going to take out once a year and flaunt it on Diwali and put it back. Put it out there every single day. Can those be placemats? Can those be tea posters? Whatever. Simple products that the person is going to see every single day. Wash karo, dal do, ho gaya. Zyada paise bhi nahi hote usse. You hook the person, no? The next time they look to buy, say, a bedsheet or placemats or whatever, they will think handloom. That's how the journey begins. So we're all on that same path, probably at just different points in that journey.
Thank you very much. Thank you. We have to end now, but not before. Please sit down. May I invite the Executive Director of WTC, Rupa Nayakji, to kindly acknowledge and honor our panelists and our moderators. Rupaji, we'd like to have you on stage, please. Thank you.
Inform you all that there is an organization in the United Kingdom which looks after dying arts, and they come to India and they buy almost a whole lot of crafts and arts which are not being sold in the market because they realize the value of handmade products. So it's up to us, as Savita said, all of you keep talking about how important handloom is, and it's up to all of you to make sure that this heritage is carried on in future generations, because the weaver's child is not going to continue history. And I don't know whether you saw the Paithani sarees that were showcased today. So Sonali's grandfather was one of the first weavers of Paithani sarees. But he says, she told me that her grandfather could never afford to buy a Paithani, to make a Paithani for his wife. So these are very sad stories that we come to know about the weaver himself, because he doesn't clothe his family with the weaves that he makes so beautifully for all of you.
Thank you, Rupaji. I first wanted to acknowledge Her Excellency, Ms. Masina, please. Can we have her trophy and a bouquet of flowers? Love. Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for your participation today. A big round of applause, please. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Please sit down. I would like you to now acknowledge Ms. Jyoti Gupta, President, Maharashtra Chapter, Vicky, please. Rajasthan Chapter. I beg your pardon, I stand corrected. Thank you. Big round of applause. We'd like to acknowledge Kanika Bawa, Director, Design and CEO, Interior Design, for your presence here today. Thank you, ma'am. And the wonderful contribution. And of course, Ms. Savita Suri, State President, Maharashtra Handling Council of Wiki, for your input, your insight, and yeah, wonderful. Thank you. Big round of applause, very dynamic. Gopalji, I want you to kindly join them for a group picture, please. Please join them. Please stand up, ladies and gentlemen. Please stand up. Yes, you please join in the group picture. Group picture, please join in. Thank you. And we'll do a group picture for this great panelists, moderators. The panel discussion was customer-oriented designs and product development. Please join your hands to give them a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We are not having a tea break, but when tea is ready, from the last row, take your tea, come back to your seat. Then the second last row. Start, but don't take a break. We are starting the last session. Start taking your tea, but don't get up and take a tea break, please. After the last people finish, then the second last. Thank you. Towards export and trade competitiveness. Our last session for today, our moderator, Dr. K. Vishweshwara Reddy, faculty member and rector, National Institute of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprise, will be our moderator. A warm welcome to you, sir. Thank you. Please take your seat. I would like to invite Chairperson, I beg your pardon, Dr. Bose K. Nair, President, WTC, Samsarpad and Visakhapatnam. Dr. Bose K. Nair is here. Please come, sir. I would like to invite Ms. Tripti Chakravarti, Assistant General Manager, Trade Promotion and Marketing, World Trade Center, Mumbai. I would like to invite Mr. Anand Kulkarni, Founder Director, Gayota. Warm welcome, sir. Warm welcome to you. And finally, I would like to invite to join this August panel, Founder CEO Maya, Ms. Shivani Jain. Friends, those who are sitting in the back, quietly please take your tea, come back to your seat once the tea is ready. Don't get up collectively to take your tea. Thank you. Thank you. I'll hand over straight away to the moderator, Dr. Reddy, who will take over from here. Thank you.
A very good afternoon. We had a very interesting panel discussion just before this. Was related to the consumer choice and consumer designs. And of course, before we actually start this session, as a moderator, I would like to know and I would like to request all the panelists, including the chairman, to introduce themselves so that the audience can know who exactly they are and what exactly we are going to talk about. So I start from my right Ma'am.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Tripti Chakravarti from the World Trade Center, Mumbai. I am the Assistant General Manager for Trade Research Programs. So I will be talking on capacity building through training through our World Trade Center education programs.
Thank you, Tripti. We would like to have the introduction of Bose Nair, sir.
Good evening to all of you. I am Bose Nair. I am the president of the World Trade Center, Shamshabad and Visakhapatnam. Prior to that, I was with the World Trade Center, Mumbai, as a joint director. Then moved to World Trade Center, Bangalore, to set up the World Trade Center in South. That's Bangalore, Kochi, and Chennai. I recently taken charge as the president of the World Trade Center, Shamshabad. I am also heading the Asia Pacific Trade Service of the World Trade Centers Association, New York. Thank you very much.
Hello. Hello.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Anand Kulkarni. I am a life and business coach. I help family-run businesses take their business to the new level. So I have been doing this for the last 20-25 years, and today I am here for you to share my experience about what exactly is capacity building all about and how we can do it for generations together. Thanks.
Hello. Yeah, I'm Shivani Jain. I am the founder of Lifestyle, and we are an interior styling and design consultancy firm. We also have our own stores, and we work with Indian artisans extensively to bring their products into marketplaces and premium homes and public institutions.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Thank you for this quick introduction of all the panelists we have here. So we are going to talk about the capacity building towards export and trade competitiveness. First of all, let us talk about the background. So when we talk about the vision and mission of the government of India led by Mr. We are talking about some important aspects, local for local. We are talking about the 5 trillion economy for 2025. We are talking about Atmanirbhar Bharat or self-reliant India. We are talking about the export competitiveness, especially the export competitiveness of the MSMEs. We are talking about how we sensitize our MSMEs. The artisans in the rural areas, the handicrafts artisans in the rural areas, how they can how can they be made aware of how this capacity building among themselves with regard to the export procedures and documentation can be made. So I would like to first of all talk to Tripti. So how World Trade Center Mumbai is taking up measures in terms of creating awareness, capacity building, and handholding the MSMEs towards exports. Tripti ma'am.
Thank you so much. So, as we are all aware, we're living in times which are very dynamic, and at every due to policy regulations, due to quality standard changes, due to geopolitics, and the entrepreneur has always to adapt his business to such changes. And the only way out to meet the ever-changing requirements, one has to train. And so World Trade Center took upon itself to roll out a number of trade education programs. So we have our institute, which is now called as the World Trade Center Mumbai Academy of Foreign Trade, which was initially called as the World Trade Institute, which got established in 1991. And we started off the first of the training program, which is called Postgraduate Diploma in Foreign Trade, which is our flagship program. It trains entrepreneurs, it trains startups in subject matters that are important when doing cross-border trade. Then we got on to introducing the postgraduate diploma in forex and risk management, which is mainly for people who are into fund managers, who are in cross-border trade, investments, and portfolio management and such. So thereafter, we went on to bring out a number of other smaller courses. So we had a small course, which is a shorter version of the postgraduate diploma in foreign trade, which is called the certificate course in export-import business. And this was mainly for people who were having a paucity of time, and but however needed to skill them with the kind of skill set required to run a business. As you're aware that India and China has a lot of trade going on between it. The volume of trade is very high. So World Trade Center thought it necessary to bring out a language course, and we call it the Basic Chinese Practical Business Conversations course, enabling students to converse in the basic Chinese, which is Mandarin, for the purpose of business. Shortly after that, we rolled out a course which is a little advanced course in the Chinese. That also did it very well. It was a little more advanced, the basic course. Then we had a number of management development programs which teach topical issues. So we had programs on packaging, we had export-import documentation and such. Then we also had global market access programs where students and entrepreneurs could reach out to new and emerging markets through such programs. So we had programs, the GMAP as it is called. We did it on the European Union, we did it on the Latin American region, we did it on ASEAN, we did it on Eastern European markets and such, where we call consul generals, where they came and made various presentations on the opportunities that await businesses wanting to do business in those countries. And of course, our faculty are experts in the industry. They have real-time knowledge, hands-on, several years of hands-on experience, and they have very well taught students various subjects on international trade, such as the foreign trade policy, export, exim finance, logistics, custom procedures, which are very important in doing business. And I would urge each one of you to consider doing these programs just to get an edge in your business. So we are rolling out the postgraduate diploma in foreign trade, the next batch, which is on April 25th. So those who are interested, please get in touch with us. We'll be happy to help you. So with these few words, I hand over to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tripti. It was like the kind of activities that are being taken up for capacity building in export documentation procedures, and other very important aspects related to international trade. So World Trade Center is doing a wonderful job in this regard to see that the export competitiveness of the Indian industry especially goes up by leaps and bounds. I would like to ask the gentleman on my left, Dr. Bose Nair, who has been spent his major part of his life in World Trade Center in different positions in different parts of the country. Dr. Bose, I would like to know why we feel that still, though we contribute 40% of our total exports are coming from MSME sector, but still we see the MSME sector is not at up to that particular mark, though it has got its potentiality in terms of exports, but could not reach to that particular level, that benchmark. What could be the reasons and what could be the solutions?
Thanks, Mr. Reddy. Maybe I'll start with where it is. Now, the capacity building is mainly what we look into the existing system, what we have, what we can improve upon to various ways. Or say 40% of the exports or otherwise, some MSME, the backbone of the economy. These are good things to say. But there are a lot of areas where we can improve upon. One, maybe the trade education part of it, what Tripti mentioned. World Trade Center play a different role. It is not like any other universities or otherwise the academic institution what they pay or gather for. Normally, whenever we launch a program, we do a gap analysis. Just to put you, I don't know what it called, what Tripti mentioned. There is a reason for introducing the postgraduate diploma and foreign visa. I was with the Ministry of Commerce earlier. When I was working with the Ministry of Commerce, prior to liberalization, maybe I don't know, Mr. Deshpande may be doing it like that. That time it was a very cumbersome procedure just to clear the export-import consignment, goods, and the layman cannot understand what is the policy procedures, what is exchange control regulation, that type of thing. So, okay, thanks to our liberalization at the moment, we made most of the things simple. But if you look into for the what we call middle management cadre or the clerical cadre, I don't know what we used to say 20 years back, the awareness it is lacking how to do it. Then we always look into the consultancy who can make it more complicated rather than simplifying it. And which we start unnecessarily blaming the custom officers or the government officials, etc. There should be an end to it. That was one of the reasons why we started this type of course, which are working executives can undergo and can understand not the typical like postgraduate diploma or the MBA course of what they only the hardcore subject part. Now, where does it play a vital role in capacity? How? One, the World Trade Center is a unique organization. We always believe supplementing or complementing the activities of the other organizations. We don't compete. So what is our USP? Our USP is we have 350 branch offices across the board. It's the only one organization which can connect you if you are training about export business community. But now you are taking this type of facility. World Trade Center, not for one is iconic infrastructure, supported with a value-added services. I am not here as a marketer for the World Trade Center, just mainly creating an awareness. Now here how we play. Now we will be in a position to connect you to any country if you are already selected for ground work. This is the country what I am looking for a focus country. We will be in a better position to connect you. We will be in a better position to arrange for a panel discussion debate without interference of the political cloud, because these organizations are not political, not for profit organizations. Where the think tank is debate and come to a conclusion, these are the things I don't know what is being into by the government. But now where it is bringing to the attention of the policy makers, we play a vital role. It is from the experts. It is not any scheme of the government which may be favorable for one industry, may have adverse effect on other industries. We have to balance. That's why World Trade Center play a vital role. Maybe doing experts like who work having a very good work experience, but they work with the World Trade Center Mumbai for a long time. I could answer advice. We look into a critical analysis part of it. We don't do a post office job. Whatever we got it. Coming back to capacity building, what it is way of trade education, trade information, arranging face-to-face meeting, business-to-business meeting, maybe what we call policy suggestion. We also do a comparative study. The developed countries, I don't know what they are doing by country, I want to adopt that type of policies, procedures for the schemes in India, which will be more business friendly as well. Unfortunately, coming to the MSME part of it, still I don't know if it's working on isolation. The cluster movement, you take it, or maybe town of excellence, you take it, one product, one city, you take it. It's already good, but it's still not, there is it takes time, it's happening, but it's not happening the way it should. But luckily, where central and the state government have a very good coordination, there it is working much more faster than the other states are. That is the only other most of the schemes what presently what we have, we copy from the other countries without understanding whether it is practically possible or visible to continue. Look into the SC culture. We copied from China. China, if you look into as a non-SC, the city of Mumbai is one SC. But the production is too high, volume. But definitely the unit price will be entirely very less. Maybe last time we back to the building, what the government should look into, provide good infrastructure facilities, but the transaction cost should be able to minimize one. Of course, to some extent, nowadays, the government interference in the business activities are reduced to a large extent. All the organizations, like what they are doing, the Chamber of Commerce, Council, the World Trade Center, even the government officials who are into export, act as a facilitator rather than a controller or rather a vigilance department. The third thing I could go to what I've considered, what I've seen in Bangalore, if you take it, there are quite a India Industries Association is a very big India Industries Association is one of the Asia's largest industries. Unfortunately, that industry is not doing well. They are not ready to adopt the new technology. Now the technology changes very fast. If you don't catch, then you are outside. And second thing, maybe if it is a family business, the taste or the passion of father or grandfather is not the same with the what we call the grandchildren. In that case, I would require to look into the changing scenario. What is to be able now? What type of business model they have to look into? What type of products what we have to look into? What type of service to the consumer? It is not like it's okay, I have it. If you want, you take it. Not no leave. First, do a groundwork. What really where there is a gap? What can be looked into? Then make accordingly to the need of the community or the customer part of it. That groundwork the MSME does it. I think so. I don't know. We can really do wonder. I really agree from my previous speaker what was saying. Unfortunately, we are selling it. The concept marketing. Branding, we should position ourselves. Like a one-time sale. We should look into a long-term strategy. That type of thing we should look into. Then we can do better, much better with the handholding of the organization. Like government schemes are really wonderful. Now, if you look into a promoter, they are not taking that advantage. So they have a mental block. Since it is a government, no, it may not be accurate. No. Now, most of the schemes, what you have, maybe the what you call application for that eligibility exam, it is very, very transparent. And even approachable. Now, most of the government officers work as a facilitator and they do a lot of things. But we should take advantage of it. We take advantage of it. The youngsters part of it, yes, don't jump into unless and your groundwork. Because you have to always go to the corporate or the MBA or the gap analysis. Okay. When there is a room for you, catch it at right time. Take decision. Any decision if you take it, there is a risk involved. But it should be accurate. you should be in a position to digest that. We cannot afford or it's too big a burden. Thank you very much.
So thank you very much, sir. You have given a very clear-cut information to the audience that, of course, technology upgradation, taking the support of the government, making MSMEs understand the real crux in the international market, documentation procedures. The things have definitely changed. I'm from Ministry of MSME. There are so many schemes. Most of the people are not heard about. Like there is market development assistance is there. There is international cooperation under which this present program is going on. Actually, one of the main objectives of this particular program is to see that you bring international delegates from different parts of the world and share their experiences, put forth the case studies of those respective countries, especially the developing countries, and understand what are the opportunities we have, and they also can identify the opportunities to trade with. All these things, they are very, very important. And there are, under international cooperation scheme itself, there are buyer and seller meets organized in different parts of the world. And most of the chambers of commerce will organize these events in different parts of the world where the Indian sellers go there, exhibit their products, and interact with the local traders, right, and try to understand the significance of Indian products. Now it's time to talk to one more person. We have Anand Kulkarni ji. Sir, I would like to know, sir, are you from textile background? Life coaching business, okay. Okay, so you are from Mumbai itself. Yeah. So Mumbai earlier, as you know, that Surat and Mumbai, someone was telling in the morning in the inaugural session where the cotton capitals and the textile capitals of the country, Manchester of the East, all these words we have heard about Surat, about Mumbai and so on. And there are so many family-run businesses which were from Mumbai, which were into textile business. And unfortunately, now they are not doing well, except one or two, if I'm not correct. So, what should be the measures in textile sector, especially the handloom sector? What measures should be taken up so that not only domestically they will be doing very well, but also they can penetrate into the international market and get into international reach to the markets of international markets, and the international customers can accept our products. So what measures you feel, you foresee, so that our students from NIFT can definitely get into entrepreneurship, can get into manufacturing, get into design, and can definitely promote their products not only in the domestic market but also in international market.
Thank you so much for the opportunity, sir. I will begin this with a small couplet in Hindi. खुदी को कर बुलंद इतना कि हर तकदीर से पहले खुदा बंदे से पूछे बता तेरी रजा क्या है. What is the meaning of this? Make yourself so much capable that the Almighty will come to your doorstep and ask you, what is it that you want, my son? So this capability building aspect, if we keep in mind, I'm sure each one of us here can help the sector grow to the next level. During lunch hour, I was just discussing with a couple of students, and he said, I have a legacy of almost about 100 years. My great grandfathers used to do certain things. So these artisans which were there in the initial days and which are there in this proud country, India, I'm sure we have a lot to give to the world. In the last panel discussion, actually, Madam Savita was just sharing with a tremendous amount of passion. There is a story to tell. Are we good storytellers? Now there is a generation gap which is being created, particularly for the ages of 100 years back the business has started, or 200 years back the business has started, and today the current generation is not interested in the business. That's what Sir also mentioned a few minutes back. Why are they not interested? Why is that generation gap being created? If we are able to understand and address these nuances to the core, I'm sure things will be definitely conducive. Dear friends, you need to understand what is capability building. Is it only taking degrees and certificates courses? Yes, they form an important and integral part as a door opener. But what is important is how is your attitude towards the work? How are you empowering the artisans who have got tremendous amount of talent in them? These people are not vocal. They are not the ones who are going to give you PowerPoint presentations. They are not the ones who are having the skill set of good communications. In that situation, here is a great opportunity for all the students sitting here. I want you all to think from the angle of how can I empower my artisan in the country? Can I try to feed him with tremendous amount of knowledge of how he should develop his product and not how he should market? Philip Kotler, the marketing guru, says that there are 4 P's that are important: product, placement, price, and positioning. Now, instead of these 4 P's, he himself has realized, can it be converted to a formula named as SAVE? Now, what does SAVE stand for? You as individuals should help the artisans understand this. If they don't understand, do it on their behalf. Because this rich culture of this country has to survive. And you will have a story to tell. What does this SAVE stand for? SAVE stands for, the first one is, whatever products are being produced should be solution oriented. How is it a solution to the problem that the world is facing? How is it a solution to the problem that a particular community is facing or challenge, particular city is facing? If you are able to understand what is the solution that is provided by this particular product, I am sure positioning becomes powerful. The second one is accessibility and availability. Can you make the product accessible and available? And you as business owners or entrepreneurs should think from the angle of, can I be a solution provider? Can I be a person who can make it available? Can I be a distribution network creator? Can I be a platform creator? With the digital marketing coming in place now, that you can be an aggregator. That's accessibility and availability. The third is, does your product create value? The artisan doesn't know what is the value of his product. Can you as an individual help him understand the value? I was stunned when I saw that sari actually costing 30,000 rupees. 40,000, sorry, I'm sorry. I was just thinking it would cost somewhere about 5 to 7,000, nothing more than that. But the story behind it is all that matters. When it is said that this has been created, hand-wound and this and that, and all those things in a sequential manner, if it is done, it is creating value for the product. Are you as an entrepreneur creating that value for the artisan is what is the question that you need to ask. And last but not the least, my dear friends, very important is we all need to position this through the education that we provide. That is E. So the 4 P's are no longer enough. You need to think from the angle of saying, is the product solution oriented? Is the product accessible and available? Is it creating value? And last but not the least, am I educating my people? Am I creating awareness? Dr. Vishweshwar Rao just mentioned a few minutes back, there are a variety of government schemes which are available, but we are not in a position to utilize them. If we as educated people are not able to understand, just imagine the plight of the artisan. Can you be an aggregator between the government and the artisan and try to help him understand this scheme will help you generate good amount of wealth for yourself? And my dear friends, metro cities are no longer the place to work or place to do entrepreneurship. It is tier 2, tier 3 cities which are going to talk the volumes of creating wealth for yourself and also the wealth for the artisans. So capacity building in all these aspects plays a very vital role in my opinion. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Very well articulated, very well said. Now, one question to all the audience, especially the students. Sir is talking about two important things. How many of you are risk takers here? How many of you would love to take risks? Just raise your hand. Risk takers. I could not see the girls in the last. How many of you feel that I should take risks? I should become an entrepreneur. I should create value. I should add value to the products. I should communicate the products of the artisans to the nation, to the international world. Very few hands I could see. Very, very few hands. Now slowly some hands are rising. So most of, thank you very much. Thank you. So most of us, including me, I'm a government servant. I'm sorry to say that, but I am handholding a lot of artisans and I have helped a lot of startups to do a proper job. So most of us are, we are averse to risk. Risk aversion is very much there, especially among the present day youngsters. And one very important acronym for SAFE. For the first time, sir, I could know this new acronym. It's very good because it's a life coach, a very beautiful acronym we have given to SAFE. Solution-oriented, accessible, value and education. You're absolutely right, sir. This is very, very important for sensitizing the artisans, especially the rural artisans, so that because they cannot communicate, their product has to communicate. But as you could see, when saree was displayed, can your product speak? Only those people who know about the product can understand what it is saying. When there is a painting, when eBay auction, when it is auctioned, only those people who are lovers of paintings will go there and buy millions of dollars of rupees or millions of dollars. So we, as the ambassadors of this country, we need to say that artisans' products, their work, their skill, their sweat, their efforts, behind that work, it takes days together, months together, years together to create a particular product, right? Which we ask, come karoge kya, discount kya deoge? But when we go to Starbucks and have a coffee for 200 rupees, 300 rupees, without asking KFC, go there, have a bucket of chicken, just spend 500 rupees without any bargaining. So as youngsters and future ambassadors of this country, you need to understand, you need to help in communicating the artisans' products to the national and international market. And that is what one of the aspects of capacity building, what we presently feel. We also have Mrs. Jain with us. Madam, you're from textile community. Yeah. So, madam, how do you see the potentiality of the Indian textile, handlooms, and apparel sector? What kind of opportunities that are there? Of course, initially in domestic market and later in international market. I remember those days when I was studying international trade, 25-30 years back. I know very well Hong Kong, which is now part of China. China and India were doing reasonably good in the international market with regard to ready-made garments. But unfortunately, of course, we are doing well even today, but that is not the position what we see. Our neighbor, Bangladesh, is doing very well. With regard to Bangladesh, is reasonably doing very well. China, of course, is the biggest competitor to India always. So how do you see, madam, the potentiality of Indian handloom and textile sector and even apparel sector in the international market, and what are the suggestions you would like to give to our young students?
So before I answer that question, I want to have a little I wanted to say a little bit about what Savita said. That the things abroad are appreciated by the people there, but we don't appreciate our own crafts. And
there is a reason to that. The reason is that there's no system here. There is no infrastructure, there is no power, there is no education, there is no market exposure, you name it. And the artisan doesn't have it. Whereas compared with an artisan who sits in the US or in UK, he has all of this. And which is why he is able to sell his product at 20,000 rupees, and we are not able to sell our products at 3,000 rupees. I just wanted to make that key point that the climate of building the capacity starts right from the grassroots but goes right up to the government, and how this whole infrastructure is viewed and created an environment is created and makes it conducive for people to grow in this business. To come to your question, sir, I think that Indian textiles has always had a significant market here abroad. People have always noticed it. People have always wondered the kind of textiles and the variety of textiles that we have in India. But there are pockets of textiles which have not really moved in the international circle as much as it should have. There are no big design brands who are well known internationally. And why is that, you may ask? It has many reasons. And one of the reasons is that we don't think big enough. We don't want to be an international brand. We don't think that we want to be an international brand. We don't have the confidence to be an international brand. And I think that comes from the way we are brought up, the way we are made to think that, within India itself, we try to create our infrastructure. But I'm saying in things like home textiles, for example, why can't there be significant sales of home textiles? Why can't there be significant sales of art, textile art? Rohit Khan had created that absolutely amazing tree of life. It was auctioned at a couple of crores in one of these fancy charity dinners that held in abroad. I see absolutely no reason that art, home textile, other segments other than apparels should not grow. And I think that I haven't seen these so much abroad, but Bandhani, Leheria, your Shibori is doing so well internationally. Why shouldn't Bandhani and Leheria do it? Or for that matter, the kind of embroidery that these such artisans do. I haven't seen that kind of work selling abroad. Why should it not sell on other categories apart from apparel and apart from garments? And I think that our ambition, our drive to be there, our drive to reach international markets matters. Because when you want to be there, that's when you bring all these things there as well. So I would encourage all young students to think bigger, to think that the world is their canvas when it comes to Indian textiles and Indian fabric.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Very wonderful and very well said. So many brands from India are doing very well internationally. But my question to you once again, how about our own handlooms, like be it Pochampally from Telangana, be it Chandeli from Madhya Pradesh, be it Banarasi Sari? Why take the artisans? Like I could see from one of the discussion, the previous panel discussion, an artisan could not make a good saree for his wife, but he's selling it to others, and he cannot afford. Actually, he can make, but he cannot afford to make give a saree as a gift to his wife. The kind of the handlooms sector, especially the traditional handloom sector, where we have so many designs, beautiful colors, texture, the kind of texture we have. And recently we have conducted a virtual shopping festival for leather products, under the same scheme, international cooperation scheme under the Ministry of MSME. The kind of pashmina we have, leather, the world's best, the fur which is taken out of that animal, specific animal which is found only in leather creature. So they were so happy first time we could bring to the limelight of the international world about their pashmina. Of course, people know, but there are duplicate products, the imitations, which are very much there in the international market. right, which are going into the international market. So how do we can protect our artisans and their products and their designs? What would be the best solution? Just quickly.
So there is IPR, of course, and there is the geotags and all that. GI tags. And but you know, there's a lot of lack of clarity around this GI tags.
Yes.
Nobody really knows how to use these GI tags and to ensure that they stay with these artisans and they're not misused. Very recently, there was this whole such a controversy which happened with this GI tag. And, the Sangameri print was something that he used in bringing out H&M range. And the thing is, when we study down to the grassroots level, the GI tag is given to hundreds of patterns, and those hundreds of patterns belong to hundreds of artisans in a certain village in Sangameri. So how do you, if somebody makes a small change to a pattern and puts it out there, how is it going to be protected? So the clarity of GI tags and how to and a process to make sure that it is not misused will really help artisans in the long run. If something like that can be.
Yeah, rightly said, madam. Like you are talking about geographical indications and the intellectual property rights. Most of the earlier the situation was desired, maybe 20-25 years back. But now slowly, as I'm from Telangana, the Pochampalli has got GI. So like that, most of the artisans, especially the location, is that particular geographical region. The artisans are there and who are making a specific design. That GI tag should be definitely given. But there is a problem, as you have rightly said, there is a slight change in the pattern. So it overcomes that particular, they try to project it as a different product. Maybe using the same design, but slightly in process they change it. I've studied again the concept of product patent and process patent, which was very much a problem before 1995 when World Trade Organization was formed on 1st of January. But later on, some of the loose ends were tied, some of the bones were blunt. But still, there are a lot of problems. Even today, people like our turmeric, which is having antiseptic qualities, is patented somewhere in US. So, but we know that when we used to fall on the ground, and there is a wound, our mother or grandmother used to put turmeric on the wound. But unfortunately, then basmati, which is our favorite rice, was called as taxmati in Texas, and they got a patent on that. So of course, you're right. There are certain loopholes which have to be plugged in, and that is a good suggestion which you have rightly said. So one more very important aspect which has actually come into my mind, where I would like to bring in Anand. What should be the role of the younger generations? You have given a very good message to all our students who are sitting over here and the aspiring entrepreneurs, I think, should do and become entrepreneurs of the future rather than becoming the job holders and 9-to-5 job. So what measures they should, what should they do so that they can get into MSMEs and they get into textiles or whatever it may be, not just textiles or whatever it may be. So what will be your suggestion?
Sure. Thank you, sir. Very pertinent and important question that you have raised actually. Next decade, or rather next 2 decades, are going to witness a tremendous amount of change. My father worked for an organization for 35 to 39 years of age. That many number of years he worked only with one organization, Civil Aviation Department. I continued the legacy to some extent and worked for 20 years with LIC of India, Life Insurance Corporation of India. Nowadays, the generation which is there, my son and my daughter, I don't think will continue in the job for more than 3 years in any organization. A warning to all the students sitting here. Job, unless and until you change within 2 or 3 years for your growth or the company stops loving you. Either of the things can happen. So in order to not lose your self-confidence and self-faith or self-belief, a very important aspect is, can you be an employer? Maybe 3 years down the line, 5 years down the line, if you are going to be an entrepreneur, you will have employees. You will have a satisfaction of feeding so many people. And here now, keeping textile in mind and all the artisans of this country in mind, there are n number of opportunities that are coming in front of you. As I told you, number one, start an aggregator for sales, aggregator for bringing all the artisans onto one place, aggregation for the purpose of selling, aggregation for the purpose of distribution via different channels, aggregation for value creation. Can you be a value expert? Just imagine a situation, if there is an XYZ person actually who says, yeah, I can create value for your product. It's an out of box thought. But can you do that? A product developer, can you develop a product? Because it all begins with a small idea. And if that idea can be nurtured, trust me, things will work. With the new education policy that has come up, 5-4-3-3, that the pattern that has come up actually, trust me, it can give good amount of impetus to the next generation also. I'm talking about your next generation. You people should own it as a responsibility and start entrepreneurship right from this moment. Yes, it's risky. Yes, it calls for good amount of vision that you need to keep. And yes, it needs a good amount of study, the grassroots level study of what and how you can position yourself. That's why my earnest appeal to the World Trade Organization also. These small certification courses are there. Here people apply and come to study. Can we do a reverse role? Can we try to go and offer our short-term courses of entrepreneurship or of variety of things that can happen actually in the global world, trading organizations, or how a company is formed, or what are the different taxation aspects actually between the two countries. All these things, small courses can be designed, and we can approach the schools from 8th standard onwards. If any of the student wants to pursue this particular program, he can do it. Rather than they approaching us, can we try to give them a vision? Trust me, my dear friends, as parents, the parenting also has become one of the major challenges nowadays. The basic two needs of survival and pleasure has already been given to the children. There is no struggle for survival. My generation or my father's generation were struggling for survival, my dear friends. They used to travel by bicycle. They used to walk down miles together. Nowadays, every student, like each one of you here, just you get down from the building, actually you either have a Ola, Uber or a taxi, or maybe your own car, chauffeur-driven car. So these luxuries you are born with. So you people can take calculated risks. Why? Because already there is a base created for you. From that base, you need to create an empire for yourself and your family. And it is easily possible. So take calculated risks. Don't be afraid. There are many government schemes that are available for you. If you don't know, ask without a mask. Corona has forced us to wear masks. I understand. But when it is to asking for knowledge, when it is asking for some certain questions, my dear friends, please do not, restrict yourself. Ask without a mask. These are all simple things that if you are able to practice, I'm sure many entrepreneurs will be developed for tomorrow. And these entrepreneurs are the base for this country. Coming days, you people, I am again telling you for the sake of repetition, next 2 decades are going to witness this very, very strongly. I have been advocating this to my son and my daughter also. Take up a job for 2-3 years, have man management skills, leadership skills and all, and then you can shift into this, no problem. But if at all it is not, start from the scratch and start an entrepreneurship base. And you are able to do it, my dear friends. I am confident that inner zeal is there already with you. You people should work out for your passion and for your purpose. Because as I told you, survival and pleasure has already been given to you as a matter of right. Your parents have done that. हमारे जमाने में हमको कुछ नहीं मिला, कम से कम हमारे बच्चे तो एंजॉय करने दो. This is the dialogue they use. We could not get it during our times. At least children of these times, let them enjoy. Free money, easy money has come up. So these all aspects are coming as a boon to you all. Can you not develop a passion for something? Can you not find out what your purpose is? Have a mission in life. I would like to establish 1,000 artisans in the next 10 years. Can that be one of the missions? And what is it that you need to do for that artisan is what you need to start thinking on. Build on that. If you don't know, ask without a mask. There are people who can support you. During our times, we did not have. I would like to tell you, I am a BSc chemistry graduate. Can you believe it? Into the finance line, very, very successful. I was one of the leading development officers of LIC of India. I have traveled all entire of the country as well as abroad on the cost of whatever prizes I got from the organization. A chemistry graduate selling insurance, because we did not have that kind of a guidance during that time. But you people, at the press of the button, you can get everything ready. Utilize it properly and channelize your energy in such a way that you are going to be emerging victorious. And our best wishes are there with you all, and we also are there to support you. Thank you.
So these were the words of inspiration and motivation to my young students who are sitting over there. So my dear students, you might be knowing we have National Startup Innovation Policy 2019, which is being getting integrated into your education system. I feel NIFT is also doing that. NIFT is very much doing that. And out of 10 startups which are getting started, there are 7 failures, but you should not see the negative side of it. There are 3 successful startups which are coming up, and you know the number of unicorns, more than 52, and we are adding more than 3 to 4 unicorns almost every year. Unicorn is something whose market valuation is more than $1 billion. And we have been doing that. India has been doing that. And we are in the top 3-4 countries which are adding unicorns every year. So this is the kind of situation that is existing. And as Anand sir has rightly said, you can take up calculated risk, which is very much possible, calculated risk. You have the backup. So work for few years, take it up, and when you are working with artisans, definitely it should be a win-win situation. They should get benefited, you should also get benefited. You provide the entire knowledge and experience and your skills to them, right? Make their products go into the national and international market, let them make money, so make a part of the cake out of it, and you'll be. Yeah.
How many of you have heard of vada pav? Please raise your hands. अच्छा लगता है खाने में, right? You all love it, right? And if somebody provides it now, you will be wishing it. I tell you, my dear friends, how the entrepreneurship works. Venkatesh Iyer, the founder of that Goli Vada Pav, he had a challenge. He's the Tambrel, sir. He's the Tambrel. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, and he has done a wonderful job. He has created not less than 300 to 400 crore business for himself. He is not operational in Mumbai because Mumbai Vada Pav is a Mahar, right? It is a maternal place. But he is doing it abroad. He has innovated a thought process and he has tied up with McDonald's. The vada pav inside that batata which is there, if you take it in the morning, by evening it is getting soiled. But this vada pav, this Goli vada pav can remain for 9 months. So he has created a system. The McDonald's patties that is being created, he has tied up with those people. There were challenges, my dear friends. There were financial challenges. There were political challenges. There were challenges of how to retain, how to franchise it. All these things were there. But trust me, he was able to do it because he had the will to do it. So Goli Vada Pav is a live example. I would like you all to just Google it out and listen to the story of, the TED talk of this gentleman named as Venkatesh Iyer. Goli Vada Pav is the name of that. So you people also can be unicorns like that. Please do it. And I'm sure you people will be able to succeed and reach pinnacles. All the best.
It's time for one or two questions, I think.
Yeah. So thank you very much, wonderful panelists and the moderator. Anybody has a question? Raise your hand, please, for our esteemed panelist and moderator, and I will come there with the microphone to you. Yes, sir.
Good evening all. It was in fact a pleasure listening to you all. We have immersed so much of knowledge from you people. Thank you so much for that. So I have a question that we're talking about the startup in the textile industry. We are, targeting the audience who are pursuing, some sort of degree or research and so on. But my question is, we have so much of, rural people, okay? Nomads, probably Punjab, if I'm talking about. So, can NIP or I'm Khadi or various entities who are engaged in this particular GlobalSpin trade conclave, can we not go to the place in rural India, to the part of Dangar, and sensitize the descendants of the Dangar? They have imbibed certain qualities from their ancestors. So if you can sensitize those people, probably they are the right people to have the right kind of startup, because they are also drifting away from their rich tradition. So if you can tap those people, probably we can get ready-made people, and we can have a proper startup in those areas. So are we really thinking of creating startups for those people?
I'll answer part of this question. I'll answer. If you see, the urbanites, most of us are urbanites, and most of the young boys and girls who are sitting are urbanites. A very good question you have actually asked. You might have heard about Jugaad, frugal innovations. Why these frugal innovations will come up? Because in rural areas, if you have to take your bath, you have to go for 1 kilometer or a half a kilometer, fetch the water from well, and you have to come. And of course, these days, because of so many schemes, Nalapani, the tap water is coming to the home, but still they face a lot of problems. So you see, as per one of the survey, because of these frugal innovations, in rural areas, more startups are coming up who have experienced a lot of difficulties. Like someone was talking about a solution to a problem in its SAFE acronym. So why an entrepreneur will born? Because necessity is the mother of invention. Necessity is the mother of invention. So when there is a problem, you need to find out a solution. If already there is a solution, there will be a niche. There will be a gap. You fill that niche. So there are schemes from Ministry of MSME which are into social enterprises, social entrepreneurship concept. There is one more concept called cluster development. We have a scheme called Spurti, SFURTI. I can also talk to you during tea. I don't know whether tea is being arranged for us or not. I'm very eager to have my tea. Sorry. So this is regenerating the rural traditional artisans. There is a very good scheme, wonderful scheme of Ministry of MSME called Spurti, where the rural artisans are brought into under one single roof. There will be a SPV, special purpose lighting. All these people will be brought under BSPB. They need to contribute 25%, right? 75% grant will come from Ministry of MSME, Government of India. Then they create a common facilitation center with the machinery out of the grant which they get. And there are some soft and hard interventions which are taken up by BSPB, the nodal agency, the implementing agency, and so on, technical agency, and so on. So there are schemes, like you might have heard about RD and Village Industries Commission. I am staying there only in the guest room, which is part of Ministry of MSME. We have MSME DI, Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Development Institute. We have Oil Board under our ministry. So there are different organizations which are actually meant for the promotion of the rural enterprises to a very great extent than the urban areas. But unfortunately, there is a gap. We understand as we are from ministry, we need to get into these people and we need to make them realize the importance of these schemes, supportive schemes for them.
Thank you, Dr. Reddy. We will have to end here. Want to say something? Okay.
What Dr. Reddy mentioned, rightly, but there is a break. One, maybe to the youngsters, you need more open discussion with somewhat gray hairs or other elderly people. One, the reason is you should look at your critical analysis. Okay, everyone cannot be an entrepreneur. Each person, I don't know, have its own strength, its own weakness. You have to analyze it. Opportunities are plenty, and there is room for everyone. You have to grab it at right time, at right place. And don't compare like you with your friend circle or neighbor, etc. You are a unique person. Accept that. Maybe parents say, I don't know, maybe with the experience part of it, definitely 99.99% they will not accept it. Then better take maybe an elderly person as a mentor, as a guide, as a friend. I will put it as a friend, draw. Then start draw, then discuss with them. Openly, this is what you are passionate, this is what you are looking for. And maybe they may be in a position to tell you what is the plus point, what is the minus point. Whether will you fit into that code? Or otherwise, you may have to look for a second option, third option. Don't go only with the control. I will do it only.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. I would now like to acknowledge and thank our panelists, our moderators. May I invite Sri Alok Kumar ji, please, to give away certain mementos to our guests. Thank you, Alok ji. May I invite you on the stage. You will give away the mementos to our guests. First to Ms. Shubhani Jain, founder and CEO of Vaya. You come here, ma'am. Thank you. And you can wait here so you can get a good picture. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Please carry on. I'll also request you, sir, to kindly give to Dr. Reddy. To Dr. Reddy. Dr. Bose Nair, sorry. We'd like to acknowledge Dr. Bose Nair, President, World Trade Council, Counterpart, and Visakhapatnam, for your presence here today. Wonderful, sir. Thank you very much. We would like to acknowledge Dr. Reddy now. Sir, you got holiday. Thank you. Okay. I'll request Dr. Reddy, you come here to facilitate the next person. To please facilitate Tripti, Ms. Tripti Chakraborty as General Manager, Trade Promotion and Marketing World. Thank you, sir. And finally to Anand Kulkarni ji, Founder Director Diota. We'd like to acknowledge you for your presence here, please. Dr. Nigam. Congratulations, thank you so much. I request all of you to stand for a group photograph, please. Yes, please join them.
By the way, this opportunity has given to me by Dr. Ajit Nigam. And this relationship goes back to when we both were in 7th standard.
I invite Sonia to please come and join in the group photograph. Thank you. Everybody stand for a picture. First time. Big round of applause to our panelists, our final session, capacity building, shows that sport entry, competitiveness. Wonderful. Thank you. We had a great day, ladies and gentlemen. All those who are going to be here tomorrow, I will mostly welcome you, and I hope you had a wonderful day yourselves. Good evening and have a wonderful evening. 1 minute, don't go. Thank you. Please wait, please wait. We'd like to present comments to two of our speakers. Miss Bhavni Parikh, founder, Unko Junko, where are you? Bhavni ji, is here. Please welcome. And Mr. Karthik Raichura, co-founder, CEO, websites.co.in. We invite you, sir. Bhavni ji, please come. Thank you for your wonderful sharing. And many congratulations, Mr. Karthik Raichura. May I invite you, sir, please. Wow. Super. Thank you, sir. That is Mr. Karthik Raichura. We have a big round of applause as he receives his memento for his wonderful presence here today. Thank you. Thank you very much. You have a small picture with our core team. All those who wish to leave, thank you very much for your presence today. You can leave. All those. The students, I want you here because I want to get a selfie with all of you. Come on, come here. All the students stand here. After this picture, I'll do a selfie with all of you. If one student take my phone and take a picture of me first. Okay, thank you. Okay, students, are you there? Stand where you are standing for that to come for the selfie. 1 minute, 1 minute. I'm giving you time to keep on screaming. Give me a yeah. 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 Yeah, this side, students here, students come here. Right here. some of you sit on the, some of you come on top, okay? This is mine. Gift. Hang on. Hold it.
Ma'am, please come in the front. Ma'am, आप भी आगे आ जाओ.